some good ahas, some implications on your work that we can jot down, because we're gonna have to refer back to this in our next session. Okay? Somebody do this, please, for something?
So,
Ms. Porter, can I put you on the spot, because I know you had some good
Okay.
ideas.
Oh.
So you were looking at it, right? And I was referring back to, paragraph 3, the first sentence, right? Not all questions must be high cognitive level in order for the teacher's performance to be rated at a high level. That is, when exploring a topic, a teacher might begin with a series of questions of low cognitive challenge to provide a review or to ensure that everyone in the class is on board. Now, I can't speak for anyone else's class, I'm just speaking for my class. This is, and I'm trying to get to that point, but it's extremely difficult because I'm just trying to get them to a point where they can even have discussions without arguing. So for me to get to this point is going to take a while, but I can speak about how I did it last year at my old school and how that worked out. I taught first grade. My questions, it was hard for them to come up with their own questions. I would kind of like start the questioning off and then they would like build off of one another. So I was never highly effective with the questioning because they could never come up with their own questions without going off task. So as far as me starting the conversation, they were able to maybe get to maybe level 1, level 2 questioning. Remember, they were first graders, so we didn't really get to that high order because we had just started. So it's a learning process. It's a process, and you have to build on it.
Oh, I just want to add on to what she said, because she said it's a learning process, and so we have to build on. Because in paragraph 3, that last phrase says this provides evidence that these skills are being taught. So it's something that you have to build up. You do have to teach it.
Right, you have to build.
And it does take time.
It takes time. That's not something you can just do overnight.
Yeah, with this group.
So you got that right? Okay. Anyone else from that table?
And also, when they're having a discussion, to me, I just feel like if they're engaged in a conversation, even if it's who, what happened, or why, even like those level 1 questioning, I think if they're really involved and everyone is on board building off of one another, I think that should be high level, you know. You should be highly effective with that because they're engaged.
Yeah, because all students are engaged.
Right, all students are engaged. If they're using level 3 or level 4 and maybe only one kid is facilitating or, you know, how is that effective?
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't make sense. She's
Sir, can I
saying
echo
that,
you?
students,
You're not talking.
students.
She's not working. She's gonna go
So
around.
if they're able to.
No, the point that you made was
Question.
that, how many kids?
You can.
Oh,
That's
I
still
was
not high level, but
pointing out
you
the
still
fact when I
have
was
all
at that
the
table
students
that last
also
year,
able
what
to
Ms. Stewart was
do
doing with
this
her class,
and
she was
those
having them
questions
make their own questions
because
because
of
my
the
kids
component.
used to go to her. And you know, they used to come back, I used to get like the semi benefit off of that. But she was complaining that she was not able to carry it through because she did not see the kids as often as she would like to, or because she did not see them for the whole year. So I'm thinking to myself that even when you're teaching kids how to formulate questions, it has to be something that's ongoing.
I'm going,
It's
yeah.
a lot of practice.
So this is why it's important for all of us to engage in this PD together so that we know that so when the support teachers, you know, they're doing the same skills and strategies that we're doing in the classroom. So it's continuously being done no matter where they go, whether they're with the science Ms. Porter, Mr. Smith, speech teacher, that everyone is following that same protocol of building students' discussion and being able to just, explain their thinking and, support it, being able to have some evidence, about their thinking and being able to counter, how would I say? Be able to have a debate with one another and their ideas. Anybody else? Ms. Hagan? Ms. Ann?
So we were saying that sometimes questioning doesn't necessarily mean a verbal answer, that children can express themselves and answer a question in different ways. So it could be through an activity, it could be through a project to show their understanding, because questioning is just based on trying to figure out what kids know, where you want to take them, and then figuring out. Oh, where am I? Where am I with that? I am. And I am where it says techniques to deepen students' understanding rather than service as the citation. The third line from the first paragraph.
Okay.
So just around that, that's what resonated with me. There's many ways, and level 4 of DOK shows it, that through questioning, there's a lot of ways students get to answer a question. It doesn't have to necessarily be verbally.
Nobody's jumping at that.
So what
Point.
happens when, okay, so let's say you're trying to build that, the students to build off of one another and ask these questions, and the teacher is mainly the one, okay, so what do you think about such stuff? And the kids are just sitting there like this. Cause I have some students like that. I mean, what happened? Are you not effective? Like, are you? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
They all, well, for the most part.
For me, I would
One
say.
of the-
Right,
oh, I'm
no.
sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
Now, what you have to keep in mind for students with special needs, students with disabilities, and our students with ELLs, everything that we're talking about in these sessions and in any professional development that we have, the teachers, what you have to keep in mind is your scaffolding. So everything that you're hearing today can be done in your classroom. It's just how you do it. So for example, the starting with the picture is a way that you can also work with your students. So your students will be more engaged by looking at a picture before you actually begin reading the story. So you can use these same techniques, but you're scaffolding it down to them. Anything that you're working on with your students, you may give your students just one paragraph, as opposed to maybe a general ed class, they may give the students the entire paragraph. You give them that one paragraph, and then you can take it through so many different ways. You can have them draw pictures first of their thinking. You can ask them a question and have them draw pictures of their thinking. Then you can have them turn that thinking into writing. So it's all about how you're scaffolding. So your students, as well as all of the other students in every class has students that are functioning at different levels or at a lower level. But your goal is to make sure that they can follow the process the same way, that the questions that you ask your students are just as high level, because the thinking, they can do all that thinking.
Right. I'm saying, like, for an example, because what you're saying, we do stuff like that in the classroom, but let's say you come into the classroom and I have Precious in the group, I have Kevin in the group, and I have, say, Ariana. Precious is the one, she's gonna be asking the questions, she's gonna throw out answers to you, she's gonna draw her picture. Kevin, like if you're at my group, Kevin's gonna be the one, he's very contrary. I don't wanna do this, I don't know what that is. You're explaining it to him, and you're, cause this is like a constant thing with him. Like what happens in a situation where you just have that kid who just doesn't wanna do it because he just wants to be